Welcome to the Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell. Each show is filled with news, reviews, interviews, and expert advice from the industry. All for you, the author. And now, here's our host, H.D. Campbell.
Need editing services? Or perhaps you need ghostwriting or formatting done. H.D. Campbell Productions has what you need to fit your needs on your schedule. We also edit contracts, work documents, student papers, and more. We have the right price to fit all of your needs. For more information, please log on to www.hdcampbell3.com. After that, please call 314-265-9169 or contact me by email at hdcampbell3@msn.com. Let H.D. Campbell Productions fit your needs. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit.
What happens when a man sentenced to be executed disappears from his cell hours before? Investigative reporter Mark Alexander must find the answers. Read H.D. Campbell's new masterpiece, Murder by Execution. In stores and at Amazon now.
You're an author. You do a lot of community things. You wear a lot of hats. What are all the hats that you wear?
Well, I call it juggling and tap dancing at the same time. I am still tied to corporate America, so I am a marketing manager by trade. In addition to that, I am very active in my church. I am a member of Wayman Temple AME. I teach Sunday school and I serve on the steward board at my church. In addition to that, I am a certified Christian life coach. My coaching practice is called Conscious Choice Coaching. In addition to that, I am a student at Edward Waters College. I am the mother of 2 wonderful adult sons and 3 beautiful grandchildren, and I have a crazy busy life.
Well, let me rephrase that. You wear a lot of hats. You also wear a lot of shoes, meaning your feet hurt as well. You do a lot of stuff. Now, in addition, oh yes. Now, in addition, you're an author. First, let's go into that. What started you on a journey to being an well? First, what got you into writing in the first place?
I've always been a writer. I have journaled my whole life. It started when I was maybe 9 or 10. I got my first diary, and I never stopped writing. For me, writing is cathartic. Writing is healing. So my whole life has basically been chronicled through my journals. I say that everybody's got a story to tell, but not everybody's willing to tell their story.
Amen on that one. So I guess my thing is, what made you go from wanting to write to publishing your first book?
Calamity. I think life actually wrote the first book for me. I had a series of unfortunate events to happen. And I came through all of these really bad things. I felt like all I had left were a bunch of broken pieces. The one thing that remained intact during all of that was my relationship with God, my faith in God. So I took what I considered all those broken pieces, and I just lifted them up to God and said, what do I do with this? You know, all of these things that have happened, what do I do with them? And I believe God spoke to me and said, use what you have in your hand. Because I had always been a journaler, I began to write. I began to write the story, and I began to write about the pain and write about all the things that had happened. And when I got finished writing, and it literally just flowed. For weeks, it flowed. Story after story after story. When I got through, instead of a bunch of broken pieces, I had a beautiful, beautiful work of poems and stories and memories, and it all just came together so beautifully. Then I had to decide what to do with it, because this was not things that I made up. These were things that had actually happened to me. This was my life. Some very, very personal. But I believe that the things that we go through and survive, those things are not for us. I believe that God allows us to go through things in order that we would have a testimony for Him. So me being able to share those things really were in order to help someone else know that they could go through the same things or similar things and still survive.
See, and like I said, you wear a lot of hats, but you also go on a lot of journey as well. So can you tell me about your published project?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell me about your published project?
Yes. My first project is called Thank You for the Pain, Poems and Reflections on the Journey to Gratitude. And again, I would love to say I made it up, then I would not have had to live it or experience it all. But it's all real life. It is about the highs and lows and ups and downs of a life of faith. And each story and poem kind of chronicles where I was on that journey to gratitude.
Okay. And your other project?
The next project is called The Power of Eve Is Not What You Think. And that project came about from a Bible verse in Genesis where it talks about creation. Usually when we hear that story, it's from a male perspective, and it's usually preached from the perspective that God didn't give the commandment to Eve, God gave it to Adam, or Eve was a weaker vessel, or something like that. But I happen to believe it to be a little bit differently, and I preface that title with, this is the world according to Gigi, and I have an opinion about everything. It is part biblical fact and part supposition. So, that story, when you hear it, we always think of it from the male perspective, but the Bible says that the serpent was the most cunning beast of the field. He was smart, he wasn't stupid. The serpent was in the garden with Adam before Eve came on the scene. He had an opportunity to observe Adam before the woman and then after the woman. And I believe that Adam recognized something different, that the serpent recognized something different about Adam after that woman came on the scene. He recognized how Adam followed her through the garden, how he wanted to touch her skin and smell her hair. And the serpent said, wait a minute, there's something going on here. The serpent recognized that although he didn't have any power over Adam, God had given Adam authority over all of the animals. The serpent recognized that that woman, she could get Adam to do some things. So he said, I don't need to talk to him, I need to talk to her. Well, the problem with that is the serpent recognized that Eve had some power over Adam, but Eve didn't recognize her own power. If she had, she would have rebuked that serpent and sent him back where he came from. But instead, she listened to him. She entertained him. And because she entertained him, she allowed herself to be manipulated. And it's that way with us today. As women, we sometimes allow ourselves to be manipulated and mishandled and mistreated because we don't recognize what God created us to be, who He created us to be. The world tells us that it's about the way we bat our eyes or the way we switch our hips when we walk. That's not it at all. The power of Eve is recognizing who God. Get this relationship, this vertical relationship right, and the horizontal will take care of itself. And that's kind of the premise behind the power of these. It's really taking us back to our original state and the plan and the purpose and the intent that God had for Eve in the Garden of Eden. So that's the basis of that story.
Well, before I get into my next question, I do want to make a comment, and I guess the comment is, I know you're a life coach, and I'll get into that in a minute, but I think you kind of missed another calling the way you just described your book. And you know what calling I'm talking about. I feel a pulpit coming. Or am I wrong?
You sound like my Sunday school class.
I'm telling you, I smell a pulpit coming. So, because see, well, before I get to my next question, I guess I'm actually going to be buying your books as soon as the interview is over, so watch out for that. But I really like the message that you're trying to convey in both books, actually.
Okay.
So my next question with that is, moving on with that is, how's that play into you being a life coach?
My writing, and the wonderful part of about being an author is that it opened doors for me that never would have been opened any other way. It actually put me in contact with people, in front of people. It actually gave me a platform in order that I would be able to reach people. I've always been a giver, an encourager, a helper, and my writing has opened those doors that has really, and you see a pulpit calling.
Oh yeah.
But it's open the doors for ministry for me. This writing was not coincidence. It wasn't any happenstance. I truly believe that God orchestrates our lives. He leads us and guides us when we allow Him to. So He has a plan and a purpose for every life. I believe my writing has put me on the path that He had for me from the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, my next question is, before I continue, I'm letting you know now, I'm quoting you on Facebook as we speak. So just letting you know, a lot of time my viewers, when they see the show and they see stuff lit up on Facebook, they know I'm interviewing you. That way they'll know who you are.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
Oh, that is no problem. So now my next question is, I know you have a lot of fans. I know you have a lot of followers. What are your readers saying about you?
My readers, the one thing that I hear the most is that when people read my books, they see themselves. I had a great example of that. I had a little girl in the dentist's office, and I just let her take a look at Thank You for the Pain, and she opened it up to a story called Baby Mamas. And she began to read it. She said, "Oh my God," she said, "that's about me." And I said, "No, baby, that's not about me." I said, "That's about us." I said, "The boy with the smooth brown skin, his name is Bernard." Because we all have those similar life experiences. We all go through the same types of things. We all have the same trials and tribulations in life, maybe at different stages, but the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. So when people read my books, they are relatable. They can see themselves in it, and they see the authenticity of it. They know that it's all real life.
See, but that's one thing I love. I love when readers can relate to themselves in your book. I tell people all the time, I don't care whether you write fiction or nonfiction, poetry, or what have you. If people can actually see themselves in your book and evoke some type of feeling, that's what makes you a great author, and that's what makes you a great author. So.
And people recognize what's real. They don't just read the words; they feel the words, and that's what makes the difference. Your empathy comes across in the words that you write. So when people read it, it resonates within them. You know that this is the truth. This is for real.
Right. So my next question is, you do a lot within the community. Do you do a lot, like, I know you do book signings and things like that, but do you take your thing for your book into the community?
I do, because my books, I didn't write my books to make money. For me, it's more of a mission than anything else, and I make money off of my books, but I also give a great deal of my books away, because I know that within those pages, there is help, there is healing. So, you know, anytime I come in contact with anybody that I feel like a story in my book can help, if there is an organization that is working with girls that I can contribute to, because I know that those words didn't just come from me, they came through me, and that they provide help and healing. So I gladly give them away.
See, so also you got a very charitable spirit, which is one other thing. Again, pulpit. See, only people who got a color for a pulpit does stuff like that. So now I need to ask you a personal question, because it's going to lead into my next question. Are you married?
I am not married. I am divorced for almost 6 years now.
And the reason I'm asking is because it sounds like you take a lot of your experience into this book, and it just seems to fit.
Yeah, it does. It does. Because again, you know, we have similar experiences. And there may be someone that is going through some of the exact same things that I went through, but they don't know that they can come out. They don't know that they're going to be better on the other side. You know, we all have a story, but not everybody is willing to share their story. But when you get to the place where you can share it in order to help somebody else, then you know that healing has taken place, you know that deliverance has come. So it really is about, you know, bearing your soul sometimes in order to be able to help someone else. So, you know, a lot of what's in my book was really kind of sad things. But if it's going to help someone else, I'm more than happy to share it.
Okay. Excuse me, I'm having a coughing fit here. My next question is, well, now that you know this, what do you go into the community a lot and do a lot of community events?
I do. I like doing, you know, there's always vendor opportunities, but I like going to events that will put me in different situations around people that I might not ordinarily come in contact with. I try to go as far away from Jacksonville as I can go, because I want to enlarge my territory. I want the words in Thank You for the Pain to go beyond just my borders, and not just for the purpose of selling books. I believe that God has a plan and a purpose for all of those words. So I just happen to be the vessel that He chose to get them out there. But so I try to put myself in places and in positions where those words can be heard by as many people as possible.
You know, with so much going on, you know about the incidents last week, you know, in Texas and other places. How does your book fit in with healing?
Ultimately, we have to get back to love. We have to get back to recognizing who God is and what He intended for us as human beings. And I think the words in my book take you back to that. Because it's about faith. It's about really recognizing that there is a God and that He has a plan and a purpose for every life. Every life is valuable. Every person is important. And I think we've lost that. We've forgotten that.
Okay. So Now I'm going to go into something less serious here for a second. I know. How can I put this? This is kind of a hard question to ask because you do so much. Do you? And I know you have readers, and I know you have, but do you have actual admirers or fans? Because I know you do. So you smile. You smile because I know you do.
I hope so. I would like to think that I have a following. And you know, the thing about writers, once you write your first book, your readers want more. They're waiting for the next book and the next book. So once you start writing, writers write. You have to continue in order to have that following. Because once they've read that book, they're on to the next one. And they're calling for more from you if your writing is really good at all.
Mm-hmm.
Now they say that your first book is kind of a bloodletting of sorts. You know, that it's usually, just getting a lot of stuff out, and that may be true. But writers write. And as you continue to write, you get better. You get stronger. Your stories get more engaging. So the goal is just to continue the writing process in order that following will increase and that I will get better as a writer.
Okay. So my next thing, which is actually a writing question, what advice could you actually give to someone who wants to start writing?
To start writing.
Or I guess to more elaborate on the question, someone who actually has a story to tell or a word to share.
You know, I tell my coaching clients, writing is cathartic, writing is healing. And even if you don't know where to begin, you begin with one sentence. Because as you begin to write, the floodgates will open. If there's a story inside of you, just the act of putting pen to paper will start that process.
Okay. So my next question is, what's in the future for you?
I keep waiting for the right book. You know, at some point, I know that there is life after my career as a marketing manager for a credit union. That's what I do. So I want to continue to write. I want to continue to encourage others, to inspire other people, and also to get more people to tell their story. You know, as a people, that's how we survive. We told those stories. We passed them down from generation to generation. And I think we're moving away from that. When you come out of a circumstance or a situation, you don't even want to think about it, let alone write about it. But again, once you get to that place where you can share that story, then you can help someone else. So we have to get back to telling our stories. So I would encourage everybody, start writing. You have a story to tell, and somebody's waiting to hear that story.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. You don't know me. I'm down and out. I got talent. I don't know what to do with it. Actually, I'm down and out, period. What makes you think you can help me?
Well, I don't have anybody's answers. I can tell you that. But here's one thing I do know. We all have our own answers. Wayne Dyer said our lives are the sum total of the choices that we've made. So wherever you find yourself, if you're not happy with where you are, if you're not satisfied with where you are, if you know that you need to make a change, if your choices brought you there, then your choices can take you somewhere else. But you have to be conscious enough to begin to make those next choices, those right choices, those better choices for yourself. And that's what coaching does. Coaching helps you discover your own answers for yourself.
Okay. So do you have any events coming up?
I don't have any events right now. Part of my challenge is I am continuously working on my bachelor's degree at Edward Waters College, and the program that I am in is very demanding. So I don't have anything on my calendar right now, and that's actually a good thing.
So actually, there won't be a book for a minute, but there will be a degree coming soon. That's okay.
Actually, there is a book coming, and the title of the one that I'm working on is called Inanimate Objects.
Ooh. I like that. And can you give me a little preview?
I can. You know, if you remember the story of Cinderella, Cinderella or Snow White. It was Snow White. The wicked stepmother looked in the mirror and she said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" Now you would think that that mirror would be an inanimate object.
Right.
But she went to that mirror and made a request of it, and because she made a request of it, it gave her back an answer. So we are, all around us are inanimate objects, and everything around us has a purpose. Everything serves a purpose. Think about you told me that you were celebrating your wife's birthday. Think about your wedding ring. That's an inanimate object, right?
Right.
But it represents so much. It says so much. You gave her that ring.
Yes.
It wasn't inanimate anymore.
No.
Because it meant something. It stood for something. And it actually said something. It spoke something to her. Right?
Right.
So think about all of the other inanimate objects around us. What are they saying? What do they have to say? What are they thinking? What do they represent?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, like I said, I'm loving this interview. I'm actually loving that smile of yours. Now, you know what? I'm not getting in your business, but I just can't understand how can somebody divorce a woman with a smile like that. That's crazy. But I'm not going to get into that. That's none of my business. My next question is, how can we get in contact with you to buy your books, get to know you, get some of your life coaching, or...
You can go to my website. It is GigiBlackshear.com. You can also find my books on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. I also have a third book that I am a co-contributor to. The title of that one is So You Want to Be a Life Coach, the Anthology.
Ooh.
And that book is for people that have a calling. They know that they have some giftings and some abilities, for the person that everybody comes to for advice, that helps everybody else with their issues, and they don't really know what that calling is. It may very well be that they have the giftings and abilities to be a life coach. They just don't know it. So that book is designed to help those that may be seeking out life coaching, either as a service or as a...
I always give my officers the final word. If there's any words of wisdom you'd like to give, any shout-outs you want to give, anything you want to say, the floor is yours.
I would like to say this. God is the giver of gifts and talents, and He's given everybody something. If you don't know what your gift and your talent is, the Bible says, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives to all liberally and upbraideth not. So God has given you giftings and talents and abilities, and He wants to see those things manifested in the earth. So if you don't know what it is, seek God, let Him guide you, show you what your gifting and your talent is, because somebody is waiting for that thing. Somebody is waiting for that gift to be manifested in the earth.
are met with a little bit of imagination. Are you a couple looking for that spark to reignite the fire in your relationship? Or maybe you just want to tickle his or her fancy after work. We have videos, toys, books, and much more with reasonable prices and associates ready to help. This is your one-stop shop for that special night. 6618 West Flores Ave. And we're open Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., Fridays and Saturdays, 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. Release your inner passion at Slim Goody.
Hey, my name is Slim. Come on down to Slim Goody.
Just who is author H.D. Campbell, you ask? He's the multi-genre author you have yet to get to know. Once you open his books, you can have a romance, get wrapped up on a world of mystery and suspense, or you can go on a journey to stop an international incident. Log on to his new personal page at hdcampbell.weebly.com and look for it in the More section. Check out his latest blog tours, book signings, release dates, and more. Then get updates from his author, H.D. Campbell's Facebook page for the most latest. Get to know H.D. Campbell and let your writing fill your spirit.
I'm going to start off by asking about, give me a synopsis of your new release.
My new release, it's pretty much like I said, I tell people I based it around young readers, like teenagers or whatever, who want to read it. And with that in mind, it's about a young guy who pretty much, such as myself and other young guys around here, he grew up in a single parent home. He's the youngest of four. And, his mom is pretty much the provider and all that stuff. And I give a lot of background information of, about the city that they come from, about mom's history. Because mom got pregnant when she was young. So I take the reader into, my eyes of how I saw things. Didn't like this myself, but through the eyes of other young guys that I know. But the main character, like I said, he takes a leap into following up with a friend of his, which is happened to be his sweetheart interest in high school. So the young lady, she introduces him to her sister's boyfriend, who just moved from California to South Carolina. And so they start talking and all that stuff, and she introduces him to the guy from California. And he pretty much likes how he is, and it goes from the telling of the more history about his older brothers. When their grandfather died, the grandfather is like the main focus in the community, because he was matter of fact, he's a father figure the most, but he's a retired educator as well. So after he retires, he's pretty much looked upon as the main person in the community. So pretty much when the grandfather dies, everything else just goes to the side as well, as far as like morals and all that stuff. So his older brothers join a gang, they get mixed up in that, and they end up getting killed. That leaves him and his younger sister, his sister that's older than him, which just leaves those two, the only ones who's living. And the character, he takes that leap of trusting this young lady, and he just starts making package deliveries from one place to another for the guy from California. And like I said, it's a long story, and I don't want to give it all. I want the readers to pretty much, get more enjoyment out of it. But the end of it, a lot of people, when they read it, I got them scratching their head wondering what happened. And that's how I want it to be. I want it to be something where people scratching their head and wondering, is he dead, or is it going to be a part 2, or what? It's a lot of people asking me, what's going on, and, I love that, because I got them thinking, okay, is he going to come with another one? Is this going to be the end of it, or whatever? But, so, I got a part 2 coming, and like I said, it's just going to break down everything that happened in the first book, which is, like I said, called The Product of the Environment.
Okay. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. So is this your only title?
I didn't hear you. I'm
Do you have other titles?
As far as this right here,
Yes.
yeah, I said the title of it is
No. No. I'm asking, do you have other works out?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I do kind of fade in and out.
Oh, you did.
Yes, sir. I have my first book, which is a children's book. It's called Happy Father's Day, and I went through another book publishing company when I first did it. That book came out in 2014. It was September 2014 when Happy Father's Day came out, and I wrote that pretty much based on a lot of things that either I've seen or I've dealt with. But I grew up in a single parent home, and the main character of the children's book, he tells the story. He's the youngest of three, so he tells the story of how his mom works 2 jobs to pretty much support the family, and how she focuses on keeping education and them going to school and all this stuff as a priority. So through the eyes of the youngest son, which is about 5 years old, he tells how he sees his mom coming home from both jobs, tired, but she still maintains and she keeps that positive attitude towards them, make sure they go to school and have the things that they need. So instead of, presenting their father, which is not in their life on Father's Day gift, they present their mom with gifts on Father's Day because she's the only father figure that they've had. So that's the reason why I call it Happy Father's Day.
Okay, wonderful. So now I want to go to the beginning. I want to go to the beginning of your writing journey. What started you, or what influenced you to want to start writing?
I don't know if you're ready to hear this, but I'm going to say this, and this is kind of crazy. I went through, I'm divorced now, and me and my ex, we had been together since our senior year in high school. And, I guess 19 years together, 11 years, but 10 years married. We just got in that little comfort zone where it was just we were more like roommates. And my biggest thing was we had issues, but I looked to writing as my therapy. Instead of me, doing other things, I couldn't smoke, I couldn't, stuff that people rely on, they're going through misery or depression and stuff like that. God put it on me to write. So what I did was, my first thing I wrote, and brother, I tell you no lie, is, and I'm working on it now. I have an independent movie that I'm working on, and we're pretty much finishing that, and it's called The Message. But one night we started fussing, and I just went downstairs and started writing. And I'm writing my independent movie, went to more stuff like plays, went to books. So I'm sitting on probably 9 more children's books. And I'm working on my 3rd novel now, my 3rd book now. I'm finishing it up. Not going to give you too much about it. I want people to cry when they look at this 3rd book. I'm trying to touch hearts with everything that I write. So, people can feel how another person's pain because, as I know, man, I don't know how you feel until you bring me into your world, and that's what I want to do. I want to bring my reader into my world or to another person's world so they can say, you know what, I never thought about it like this, But, yeah, when me and her started arguing and all that stuff, instead of just storming out, man, I wrote. And like I said, I have a lot of stuff sitting on flash drive, sitting on notebook paper that I need to transfer onto a flash drive. So my sister teased me. She told me, she was like, you better thank your ex-wife, because if it wasn't for her and y'all busted, then you probably wouldn't be right. So that's a blessing.
That's not weird. That's not weird at all, my man. That's actually pretty cool. So there's no problem, man. So you drew inspiration from your ex-wife. Do you draw inspiration from anywhere else?
I was always a writer in high school. Back then, we had like little journals and things like that. And I wrote in English class. And then, like I said, me and my wife, we had been dating from, like I said, towards our end of my senior year in '95. So after we graduated from high school, you know, I went straight to college, and she did also. We went to separate colleges. So, you know, when you up 3-4 hours away from your sweetheart, only thing you back then, only thing you could do was write. I mean, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have all that stuff
Right.
that you have now. So, you know, I wrote. I mean, it was nothing for me to pick up a pen or some paper and write her 3-page letter front and back. You know,
I've done that. Right.
That's all I did.
So I've done that plenty of times, so that is no problem. So I guess now my next question is, you've just released your new release. Like I said, it's got great acclaim. How have people received it so far?
Like I said earlier, you know, a lot of people, you know, I guess one thing that pretty much is a good benefit for me, because here in Anderson, South Carolina, I have a community organization where I started it by myself. Well, I started with some more people, but I ended up doing it by myself. But I've been doing a community organization for going on almost 12 years. It'll be 12 years in January. And that targets single parent, low income children, pretty much like I told you, you know, situations that I came from. But a lot of people know about what I do, so they follow me. And those who don't know me, you know, then they hear about from other people. Because, you know, my biggest thing is this: I tell my friends who ordered the book when it was on Kindle, and, you know, since it's on paperback also, you know, I tell them, I just need your honest opinion, not just because you're my friend, you know, and you know how it is, you know, some friends, they'll tell you straight up, but then some friends, they don't want to hurt your feelings, so they'll tell you, yeah, your book is good, but I ask them, you know, if this wasn't me, would you recommend this book? You know, would you actually read the book? And a lot of them said, yeah, you know, whether they're telling the truth or not, I don't know, but, you know, I've been getting a lot of positive feedback on that, and then, like I said, by me being involved in the community and stuff like that, matter of fact, I was just telling a friend of mine, I'm involved with this community task force in my old neighborhood where we have like a community bash, where we give out free school supplies, stuff like that. But make a long story short, the councilman, he heard about me writing my second book, so, and I told him what it was based on, and he was like, well, that would be a good thing for the students that are in alternative school. That would be like a good book for them to read. And just like I said, you know, just the fact of, you know, the school district here supporting an author, you know, or aspiring author, you know, who's from Anderson. So, you know, that's good to give that hometown support.
So now I will need to. Well, that actually segues me into my next question. So you do a lot of community active work?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do. Like I said, I pretty much cater towards single parent, low income children. As far as that, I take the kids to college basketball games, college football games, Charlotte Hornets basketball game. I take them on trips. Because I mean, I don't have any children. I have nieces and nephews, but a lot of children who have parents and stuff like that, they take for granted, you know, them being able to get in their car and just go places. A lot of the children that I cater towards, but the kids whose parents either they don't have the transportation or they just don't feel like taking their kids anywhere, you know. So it's nothing for a child who's never been anywhere just to go outside their environment or their neighborhood, you know, to feel special. So what I'm trying to do is just give back that I don't know, that positive attitude for that child who feels like they're being neglected or there's no future from, you know, where they stay. So if you give them something different besides their norm, you know, I just feel like maybe you can inspire them in a positive way.
Okay. So how do you feel writing plays a part in that?
I think writing is, man, you get to take that person or those people into your world, you know. And my thing is, when I write, I write from the heart. I don't write to, you know, some people, they write on things that really, you know, I'm not gonna say it's ratchet or ghetto or nothing like that, you know, but we got too many of that type of stuff, you know, being wrote about. I want to reach those people that, you know, like I said earlier, I want you to read something that you never thought about, so you can scratch your head and say, you know what, I never thought about, you know, a mom who had 3 kids and how the youngest child sees the really didn't want to be in, but he was searching for that identity. But searching for that identity also, causes him to get hurt, in the book. So that's mainly what I'm trying to do.
Okay. So I got a question. Have you ever thought about teaching writing courses? Because you seem to have it so together with your history and everything. How about doing some writers? How about doing like some writers workshops for the young people?
You know what? Even though I sit here with all that, that encouragement and positivity and all that stuff, one thing that I'm still kind of iffy about is something like that. Not saying that I couldn't do it, but I don't know. I still have that fear, brother. I'm telling you, I have a fear of certain things, and that's one. But sometimes you gotta overcome that fear. And I never really thought about it, until you brought it up. But I mean, that would be something that I could, do. When I think about that, I think about someone who's like won prizes and stuff like that for their book. I don't think about somebody like me who's trying to get their feet off the ground type person to do something like that. So I guess, I can look into it, and I just need to get that, I'm just a nobody type writer out of my mind and actually do that. So that's an encouragement right there that you just gave.
So that's one thing you definitely need to get out of your mind, brother, because like I say, once you hit live on that book, you're no longer a no-name, nothing writer. You are a full-time author, my friend. So that's one thing you definitely need to get out of your mind. All right, my next, because you inspire so many, and I'll be honest with you, so many of us on Facebook have shared your bios and a little bit of everything. So it's just a matter of, you have people out there that's looking out for you. So basically never take that for granted. Never sell yourself short like that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I do at times. I sell myself short when really, I shouldn't. I guess that I try to keep myself in a medium mode. I try not to make myself lower than what I am, but then I also don't try to project myself higher, because I work with children with special needs and stuff like that, and I never say anything about my book or what I do until people look it up. You look it up on Facebook and they say, "Oh, I didn't know you did this. I didn't know you did that." I don't want to seem like I'm the type of person that brags. I've been around guys and females who brag about what they do and stuff like that. I just never wanted to be a bragger. If you find out about the information about me, hey, that's good. Hey, I'm still the ordinary Joe, and that's pretty much how I want to just keep myself just ordinary, humble, and all that stuff.
No, see, I love that. So my next question is, how can we get a copy of your newest book?
Oh, okay, you can go to createspace.com, www.createspace.com, and like to look up either Kevin Norris or Product of the Environment. And like I said, it's $5.99. It's a good price. I mean, man, that was the killer. Because most people, when they think of a book, they think, oh, I can't afford this book. It's $15, $16, or it's $17. $5.99. Shoot, that's cheaper than some of these meals at the restaurant.
I tell people that all the time.
That's a good deal.
Right. We can do $5.99. That's good.
Yeah, so I know, man. Not to cut you off, but yeah, man, $5.99 is not bad. I mean, because I guarantee you go to Wendy's and you buy a burger and some fries and something to drink, you gonna spend over $5.99 or at least $5 something right there, man.
Oh yeah.
Why not? Take something that you can keep for a while, and if you're in the Anderson area or whatever, hey, be signing it, and like you bless me with your encouragement, man. Hey, you never know. This right here could just be the stepping stone to something positive, or something, beyond just being this second book and all that stuff. I mean, I got a lot of things that I'm sitting on. It's just, I need to get off my butt sometimes and just do it, and just stop sitting back and, being that Uncle Dude at times.
Okay. So, now my next question for you is, well, first, are you available on Kindle as well?
Mm-hmm.
So they can go to Kindle, and how much are you on Kindle? Okay. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, since you done already put it out there, you divorced and everything, you got ladies, you got the stalkers out there. How do people get it? How do people get in touch with you? Or do you have a website? And how else can people get in touch with you to buy your books, to get to know you, things like that?
Well, my main thing, and I need to go ahead and, matter of fact, I had said this the other day, and it's crazy that you brought that up. I said I need someone to help market what I do, because I have a lot of my hours, man, and I appreciate you working with me on, you know, the times that I told you that I needed, you know, this time to do this time to do that, and I wasn't putting you off on the interview. It's just, man, I'm telling you, even before the books, you know, it's just so much stuff needed in the community here in Anderson that people, they tug and pull at you, you know, and I'm the type of person that I don't like to say no, you know, even if it's a grandmother saying, my grandson needs somebody to talk to, would you mind doing it? You know, that's just, you know, that humbles me, and that just makes me feel encouraged that, you know, I can do it. But through Facebook, Kevin Norris, KevinNorris. If you're not in the Anderson, South Carolina area, put Anderson, South Carolina. My page has my first children's book, Happy Father's Day, and it also has a picture of me with my after-school children in front of a fire truck. Because I used to work as an after-school teacher also, you know, before I started working with children with disabilities. That's pretty much. I'm on Instagram also. I can't tell you how to look up on Instagram, but mainly Facebook as of now. You can hit me up on my phone. I don't mind. 864-934-9782. That's pretty much what, you know, how you can hit me up. I'm working on a web page just particularly about myself, so I can tell everyone, not just about the books that I write, but about everything that I can just put on my page and not just, you know, use it for Facebook also.
Okay. All right. Now this is the part of the interview where I give you the final word. Where if you got any writer's advice, anything you want to do for anything for new authors or anyone just trying to get to where you are now.
My biggest thing is to never give up, you know, and it just gets discouraging. And I was telling Miss Tammy before, when I did my children's book and I went through an already established book publishing company, you know, and I spent out, man, I lied to you now, I spent out probably close to $1,000, and that was just because I needed an illustrator also. And you know, they quote unquote did the marketing, which the marketing was going to cost me like $250 a month and all that stuff, but it was a lot of money, you know, and I was, you know, kind of, you know, I was green to the whole thing, so I just wanted to get my book out, and my biggest thing was, you know, I was just trying to get profit out of it, and that's how I look at these books now. You know, my main thing is if you can read a book that says Kevin Norris, if I can walk in a store, or if I can walk in someone's home and see a book that says Kevin Norris, and you know, when I die, and you know, my nephews and niece, and you know, whoever else in my family can look at that and say, you know, this is a part of something I can always have, you know, a book or something like that. But like I said, my biggest thing is to never give up. Never give up on your dreams, no matter what. It's going to take hard times. You're going to have to cut some things out. You know, I like to play basketball with the young guys, so sometimes I don't get to play with the young guys. And just don't give up. Never give up on your dreams. And my biggest thing is, and I got this from his last name is Basin, Michael Basin. I got this from Michael Basin, man, and I share this with some young guys that I talk to. Have more than one plan, you know, because if I have a community organization and someone else comes with a better community organization, then that's not my community organization now, you know. But now and I'm not ashamed to say this, man, and again, I think I said I'm not bragging. I have a community organization. I have a community poetry group that we do. I have a 21 and over poetry spoken word venues that I do monthly. I'm the founder of a community talk show. I got the book. on some animation type stuff.
Oh, man.
That Fat Albert type feel back to the black cartoons, like how I grew up on with the Cosmic Message and stuff like that. I'm trying to bring all that stuff back, man. I got so many ideas. Someone stole one, I got 1,000 more, man. So never give up on your dreams and have more than one plan.